On April 1st, 2021, I ditched a career I absolutely hated to better myself and do the things I've always wanted to do. And that included my growing love and obsession with Ireland. I want to learn everything: culture, history, mythology, music, and the language. Which, if I'm being honest, looks really hard to learn, but I'm going to give it the old Smith try. Then, of course, there is my love of pubs and the role that they've played throughout history, and no better example of that than on that beautiful, beleaguered island in the North Atlantic, Ireland. April 1st, 2026, I depart for the Emerald Isle, and for 1 year, I'll hike town by town and conduct interviews with pub owners, pub regulars, historians, town know-it-alls, musicians, and basically anybody that wants to talk to me. If you'd like to support the project and the journey, basic Patreon support is only $3 a month, but just liking a video or subscribing to the channel and following the journey is just as helpful. I'm always looking for volunteers to work as liaisons for the project too, so if you live in Ireland and know people, feel free to hit me up. This is a huge goal and I need all the help I can get. The Smitty Learns Irish Pubcast begins April 26th and will be my life's work. Thank you.
1, 2, 3, 1.
1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Is that when you said blowjob on the radio?
Like 10 times.
I'll tell you the story. I bought 3 microphones, but I didn't pay attention to what I was buying. It's a 3-pack.
3-pack?
Oh, I have 9 microphones. What the hell am I going to do? Interview a baseball team? I'm tired of your fucking bullshit, you know what I mean? I'm tired of all of this nonsense that I just want no part of anymore. I'm going to do my own fucking thing. Fuck all of that.
2, 1, action.
What the hell? Everything! Oh my god! As I get the fucking old man stretch out and turn off this music. Sorry, Collective Soul. Don't want to get dinged for copyright so early into the motherfucking show. What the hell, everything? Thank you for joining me. Happy What the Hell Everything Day. It is a Friday. As my old boss Ray would say, Friday. I mean, I think he did not originate that. I don't know who originated that. It's Friday. Just don't bang a fucking gong. Get it on. Get the fuck out of here. Hey, thank you for coming on. If you are on the live stream, feel free to, you want to chime in on anything I'm yapping about, feel free. I try to go back and forth with the comment section on the live stream, and it's just going to be got some fun things to kind of ramble about. Going to go through a few news items and such. I don't know about news items. We're going to just kind of peruse headlines. It's kind of just a fun thing to do for me. But remember, you're new to the podcast or you're an old radio listener checking out the podcast, another way to do it if you're not watching it is Spotify or your favorite platform. Download, take it on a commute or whatever, and downloads are going up. It's fun. It's fun to see more people getting on board, and it's fucking fun. Sometimes I got nothing else. I'm so fucking tired. Anyway, I should probably get back to the things I have going on. What do I got going on? Coming up on Monday, there's the Irish band Aslan that I've fallen in love with, and getting into the band after the frontman Christy Dignam passed away, and there was an outpouring of support and love for that band in Ireland, and started doing a couple reactions, and I'm going to be interviewing them. Coming up in a couple days. I spoke with their publicist. What one was that? The manager, Denise, not publicist, excuse me. And she could not have been nicer. It was so fun to just I was like, it's my first Irish Zoom call that I had. I just kind of wanted to touch base and talk about the band and try to get some sort of inner workings because they're new to me. I'm doing a cram session, and it was really fucking fun to just just sit there and talk to her, and it just reinforced everything I have learned and thought and love about, like, the Irish people are just so full of, like, good humor, and it seems like they love to talk. They love to talk about Ireland, and it's fucking fantastic. And they just are just the most down to earth people you could possibly imagine. And just talking to her, I'm like, man, these are my people. So I had a great chat with her and set that interview up. And on Monday, going to do an all Aslan reaction marathon. And there's probably people checking out this podcast right now that has no idea who the fuck Aslan is. It's one of the things probably I would have said years ago. Oh, I've never heard of him. That doesn't mean shit. That doesn't mean anything. One single bit, because there is an entire country that is in love with this fucking band. It's crazy how isolated it is in the United States when you come to find out, what you just haven't heard your whole life. And going to be doing a cram session for Aslan, this legendary band, and suggestions as well from fans of the band that you got a question you want to ask the band. It's not something I typically do, so I might pick one, maybe two, just to kind of include it. It's going to be close to an hour interview, maybe. Who knows? So that's coming up, and all sorts of good things, man. All sorts of good things, and I'm fucking tired. When I get probably 5.5 hours of sleep last night. I go at average about 6. I usually go to bed 1:30, maybe 2 o'clock, and I'm up around 7:30. So that's not necessarily 6. But then I fucking sleep in on the weekends. I allow myself Saturday and Sunday to sleep in. So I catch up on the sleep. But god damn it, this morning. It was rough. I'm sure I'll get into all that. I do want to kick the podcast off with the word of the day, though. The word of the day. I just like to learn words. I love language, man. I love to figure out where words come from. Sometimes it can be fun. And already looking at this word, it's something I've used multiple times in my life. Due to all the egregious errors I've made. Egregious is the word of the day. Just for confirmations and shits and giggles. Let's make sure of that pronunciation, just because, I'm always wrong. Or not always, but I am wrong on occasion. Not always, but on occasion, and I will be right more.
Egregious.
Egregious. Because there's people, I don't screenshot the word of the day. I always think, should I spell it for people? And I feel like that's probably a common courtesy. You're listening or you're watching, you can't see it. EGREGIOUS. Egregious. Meanings and examples. Let me take these fucking headphones off. I'm trying to battle my brain with taking the headphones off. Doing a radio show for 15 years, there's a vast difference in my brain that is going away if I make myself take it off. You don't necessarily think about it if you can just keep going. But I talked about it a lot of podcasts ago, where it's like doing a show, talking to myself. Doing a show, talking to myself. Doing a show, talking to myself. Because when you're talking without headphones on in a room where nobody is, you're like, oh, it just feels like I'm talking to myself. If you can get over that, it's fine. You got to make yourself egregious. Extraordinary in some bad way. There's times where I'm like, how do you fucking... What the egregious... What the hell egregious? That's the name of this show. Extraordinary in some bad way. Egregious was first recorded in 1525 to 1535. Egregious comes from the Latin word egregious, which means preeminent, outstanding. The Greg element in egregious is the stem of grex, flock, such that egregious literally means standing out from the flock. Another flock-related word is gregarious. Ooh, I feel like that's better, though, which means fond of the companies of others. Oh, okay. Now we're learning things. Thanks for joining me on the live stream. Do have a few people on. Good to see you. Throw a you want to throw a comment in the live stream? Feel free. As we our way through this, we had the blue moon the other night, and it was brilliant. It's one thing I like about kind of getting out of work late, you know. If there's no fucking traffic on M72, man, it's one of the beauties of living in the tourist area and having the tourists go home for the season. And you're like, okay, there's not a fucking mountain of people on this fucking long ass drive that I got to make. It feels long. It's not that long. 15 minutes takes me. But when it's country roads and there's not a lot of people, it's a nice drive. But that blue moon was out the other night. I'm like, oh man, just brilliant. Like, I don't know the last time I've seen or even probably observed it, because a lot of times oh, you should check out the stars at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning because there could be a meteor shower. And I'm like, I'm not doing that. I'm not going outside at fucking 1 o'clock in the morning. But the other night, the blue moon night was 2 nights ago now. I went out to smoke a cigarette. This is my first day not smoking, I will say. So far, so good. I'm always trying to quit. That being said, I was outside smoking. And I'm like, oh, man, this is a fucking brilliant opportunity for me to take a great blue moon picture and just post it on Facebook just like everybody else. And I was like, I got my fucking rad iPhone. I don't know. I think it's iPhone 12. And they're supposed to take really good pictures. And I don't know if there's a specific setting in the iPhone. Please, is there a setting on the iPhone that can let me take pictures of the fucking moon that don't look stupid? You know, I know that there's a lot of like professional photographers and amateur photographers, especially in this area, that go out and take fucking great photos of like the moon and the northern lights, the aurora borealis, and things like that, and they're fucking fantastic. And I thought a lot of them just did shit on their iPhone, but apparently not. I don't know. I took a picture of the fucking moon, and I'm like, well, this is fucking stupid. It looked like a fucking child took it with a fucking Polaroid from 1982, and I'm like, clearly there's some setting on this thing. It's just a great example of like, I have all of this technology at my fingertips, and I pretty much know how to do none of it. I know how to do what I got to do to get me by and to go live and to do reactions and things like that. But I don't know how to fucking, I'm learning gradually Photoshop and things like that, and more video editing and things like that. But I don't know how to make it look good. It's just indicative of like my basic presentation, where if you can get around this gigantic rough edge into the tender center, I'm like a Cadbury chocolate with like really fucking stale, a really hard layer of stale chocolate. That's my fucking, that should be my running motto. Hey, let's take a look at some fucking world news, you guys. Let's scroll through and see what's happening around the world. Where's the story? I was just there. There it is. This is a BBC story, and it just made me LO fucking L, man. I think I'm going to read more into this story. But I had seen a brief headline or something probably a week or two ago that they had this huge Loch Ness Monster investigation on Loch Ness in Scotland. And I've pretty much given up all hope that exists. You know what I mean? Especially in this day and age. I feel like you should have got some solid footage of this thing at some point. Bigfoot too. Fuck off with that. I wanted to believe for a long time. I don't anymore because I've watched that Sasquatch hunter shit, and they never fucking find him ever. They're always like, oh man, we just barely got him or something. That's a squatch. I know it. You don't fucking know shit. But they had a big Loch Ness Monster hunt. Not a hunt. You use that term loosely. The mystery, what's the headline? Nessie hunters hear sounds but fail to record them like they were supposed to have. It was supposed to be this big, most technologically advanced hunt of the Loch Ness Monster I think that they had ever had. We're going to go on to the story and find out. But, and then, of course, you're always supposed to fucking record, first of all. Failure number one. About 200 volunteers kept a lookout for mysterious events from the shoreline, but spotted nothing unusual. Observers on a boat using acoustic equipment reported 4 unidentified gloops, but then realized their recording device wasn't plugged in. Oops. Oh, damn it. We didn't fucking test this before. Organizers said visitors from around the world joined the hunt despite appalling weather. Man, yeah, it very well could have existed at some point. I mean, stories got to originate from somewhere. Maybe some sort of fact-based thing. You know, it could be some fucking... I just don't believe that there is a dinosaur under the water. I mean, it's a big-ass lake or a loch. I know it's gigantic, but it's still just a lake. You know? It's really deep, but it's still just a lake or a loch. I feel like. I'm wrong a lot, you know? Man, like I said, I'm so fucking tired. I worked last night. I worked 5 days a week at bartending at the lovely Bourbon 72 Steakhouse inside Turtle Creek Casino. I love working there, man. I really do. And to be quite honest, that job helped me in this arena as well. The kind of the knowing or realizing that you can do something that's really hard that you've never done before and is so difficult that if you can just make the decision to do it, you could do it. Because I didn't think I was going to be able to do this job that I'm doing at Turtle Creek. Not one bit. I got the gig and I'm like, you know, great, paying, I get benefits, but doing the food aspect mixed with the bartending, you know, you're waiting on customers as well as, you know, pouring drinks. I'm great at pouring drinks. And this job is, you know, it's high volume, fast, in a hurry, inside a casino where people are, it's not a place you drive to go to eat, you know, necessarily, where there's a bunch of people that wouldn't necessarily dine there if they weren't at the casino, is a main reason for just a bunch of people show up at once. You know what I mean? It is great. Why wouldn't you? It's a premier steakhouse, you know, and we're shorthanded. It's just the way of the world right now. It is so crazy. I don't blame anybody for it. I don't say nobody wants to work. I don't think that's the case, but we're shorthanded. And but when I say it is the hardest job I've ever done, and just to recap, like I have a 15-year career in radio and then bartending as well. But dude, I have done so many fucking jobs in my life. I didn't get into radio until I was 30. You know, I was in the Army. I worked masonry with my father. I did all kinds of fucking jobs when I was a teenager. I got out of the Army, worked at the casino for a year or so bartending, and then once I left there, I bartended a couple other places. I drove cab. I worked as an electrician apprentice before. I worked at a cleaning company doing janitorial work before I went in the Army. I've done a lot of fucking work. You know what I mean? On top of that 15-year career in radio. So I feel like I have a really good sampling size of things out there and have done enough things to get a good idea of hard jobs. And outside of like putting your life on the line every day, forest firefighters in general, police, military, anything like that, even though I say, man, it was kind of harder than the Army. All I did was jump out of planes and drink beer. But that's a fucking really hard job. And you kind of got to be a badass to do it. And it's such like you're making drinks and you're doing all these things. And there was one day where I was just so overwhelmed starting this job. And I was like, I fucked up so many things, so many customer orders. I forgot so many things. I'm pretty absent-minded, you know. The weed doesn't really have that much to do with it. It's just a thing. And I was like, man, I was talking to a friend of mine, and I was like, I don't think I can do this fucking job. Then I had the worst night ever. The worst fucking night. Where the whole night, just got everything wrong. And I made the decision right then. I was like, if you don't kill this job in a good way, everything is going to fucking crumble that you're trying to do. All of these things you're trying to maintain this sort of visibility with this podcast and gain visibility and promote this Irish project in 2026, and you're trying to do all these things, and if you can't finance it because there's not necessarily there's good paying work around here, finding it is tough. Most of the work around here, I could go to factory work or something like that, but I chose to bartend. And the fucking brewery job failed. You know what I mean? It's a new brewery and it didn't pay shit. So I'm like, fuck, I'm going to get this job at Turtle Creek. And it's a well-paying job. And if I'm like, if I don't keep this job, this whole thing is going to crumble, you know? And I made the decision right then that you're done fucking around, you know? You know all of the things you need to know. And the same goes for this thing. If you apply yourself and not be a fucking pussy, for lack of a better term. Some people don't like that, but sometimes that's just the fucking wording I use, man. Just don't be a pussy. Don't be a bitch, you know? Just fucking maintain your focus and slow your brain down. Because I work with mad anxiety a lot of times, you know? I talk about it every once in a while, where things are going at level 11, all sorts of like outward input, you know what I mean? Working in the restaurant, everybody's watching you. I mentioned on a podcast once where I was just like, I get really nervous if people are watching me and I don't know what I'm doing, you know? And doing the craft cocktails thing was a really hard learning experience. The point of this long, rambling story is that I fucking did it. Because I am rocking that job now at Turtle Creek, you know. I don't like to brag. But I feel like I'm one of the more reliable employees, you know. And I value that. Every time I go into a job, no matter what it is, if it's on the radio or whatever, my goal is to be the best employee they have because I just like the idea of making yourself invaluable, you know. And I rock that job all the time. But last night, as we get to the crux of the story, but last night, man, we got hammered. And around 8:30, maybe 9 o'clock, because we got hammered right around 7 o'clock. It was going fairly steady, and then all of a sudden I had I had a couple 3-tops and another 2-top and things like that, and they were busy in the dining room, and drinks were blowing up, these long drink tickets, and I'm bam, 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 and I'm doing the things, and my manager comes into the bar. She's behind the bar, and she's got a clipboard. I'm like, what are you doing? And she's like, we're doing inventory. And I'm like, what are you talking about? We're doing inventory. She's like, yeah, I told you earlier. And I'm like, I don't remember shit, you know? And then we had inventory. Oh man, it was that's the worst feeling in the world, because as a bartender, you got to do inventory. You got to count literally every single whiskey bottle, every single liquor bottle, beer bottle, wine bottle, fucking cherry, sour mix, Bloody Mary mix, all the things. You got to count every single lime down to the last fucking olive, you know, and it takes a long time. And I'm not joking you, man. That job is so high stress and like so sweaty. It's hot behind the bar. You know, you're wearing all black. I'm wearing the fucking things, you know. I don't wear a tie, thankfully, you know, but I don't like to be tucked in, but I am tucked in on this job. But you're hot and sweaty and you're sore. My feet and legs are just beat down, you know, because you're walking. You're getting steps in, man. You're getting food. We're shorthanded. There's no busser. You're bussing all your own shit. And I'm like, oh my God, we gotta do fucking inventory. That's the worst feeling in the world, is ambushed by inventory. It wasn't ambushed. I knew, or at least she told me, but sometimes I just don't hear things, you know? If I would have heard and been a better person, then I would have felt great. And I actually think at work I have tried all of the seafoods finally. You know, there's all, you know, I like seafood. I like shrimp, lobster, crab legs. I like crab cakes. You know, there's seafood things I like, but there's a few seafood items that I just had not been able to wrap my head around historically. Calamari, octopus. Which, what the fuck is the difference between calamari and octopus? Calamari is just a nice name, nice way to say octopus, right? But like, we serve calamari at the restaurant. And we also serve octopus in a cioppino, where it's like snow crab legs and mussels and lobster and things like that, and like a saffron tomato broth. It's really nice. It's really lovely. I've tasted it before, but I tried the mussels once, you know, and I'm like, oh, if I like that. But I tried it, you know. Then a couple days ago, every once in a while, especially if a new employee starts, they'll make up items, you know, so the employees can taste them, so you know how to talk about them, and etc. So those are always nice days when the food's out. You're like, all right, I'm going to try some things. So the calamari was out, and I'm like, ugh, I've never done that. It was really nice fried calamari. I don't know. I know there's difference between certain presentations and styles, but it's like the ring kind. And marinara sauce comes with this particular calamari, and it's the ring size, like I said. And I was like, all right. And I had the fucking shitty face. I dipped it in the marinara, and I was like extra fucking marinara, man. And I was like, oh, it's not bad at all. It's pretty good. And then, before that was the octopus. It was like just, I think, what was the special? It was some sort of octopus tentacle, and it was like this long, and it was spiced up and seasoned certain ways with like a nice presentation, and they had it out, and I kept looking at it. I was like, fuck. I don't know if I want to do this, man. And I walked past it several times. It was out for a while. I don't know why I didn't decline just on that alone. I think Chef James was like, try that octopus? I'm like, man, I want to try this fucking octopus. But I did. I'm like, fuck it, give me a fork. And cut into it and took the thing, and I was like, I don't fucking like it. But I did it. What else? What was last night? Because last night was escargot. What else was there? There was some arancini, which are fucking nice, like deep fried risotto balls with melted cheese on the inside. Marinara sauce are so good. What else? What else was out last night? Crab cakes were out last night. Had a bite of those. And then I think the escargot was like the last one. My coworker Claire was like, "You gonna try this?" And I'm like, "Oh no, man!" And they come with like a little pastry on top, and they're a little cup with a little sauce. And I kept looking at it, and I'm like, if I'm gonna fucking do it, I'm gonna do it now while it's still hot. It just came out of the oven. It's in like these little crocks, you know. It stays hot. I'm like, if I don't hurry up, it's gonna be cold, and then I don't want to do that again. And I did, and I'm like, fucking again. It was just this weird taste, like they've been traveling around through fucking turd-infested worm soil. And I'm like, I don't like that at all. You can knock that one off the bucket list. Is there any other seafoods that I am missing? I feel like there is. I feel like there's a lot of seafood, because I think I've had crab, I've had lobster, I've had this and that and that. I don't know. I feel like I've had enough. But I'll get ambushed with something at work. I'm sure. Shark fin. Well, that's where I lay down the line, sir. I don't know if I want shark fin. Let's do a news check, you guys. Where around the world do I want to look for the news? I think I actually want to check out the Not the Onion Reddit thread, which is a lot of times it's kind of fun stories, fun things to talk shit about. We'll just give it a little bit of scrolling and see what fun things happen, you guys. Man. Sadness and frustration. Prisoners want to extend time in custody due to Canada's housing crisis, says criminal defense lawyer. What kind of fucking shit world is this world that we currently inhabit? You know? Not everything's shitty. You know, I don't want to make it sound, I have, great life, and I love people and all kinds of things. And not everything's shitty, but sometimes it is. When you have people that would prefer to stay in prison because the only alternative is to really be, this is in Canada, so I can't necessarily speak unless I open up the story, which I'm not going to do. We're just perusing headlines. If I went to prison for however long, didn't have a place to stay when I got out, good fucking luck, man. I mean, you're going to be in a tent. I mean, that's really the only, I don't know that that's the only option, but I mean, that's a huge option, I feel like, where, who the fuck's going to pay you enough to live anywhere? The prices are astronomical, you know? Good luck. Good luck in this world, man. What? Man, I did see something about a shooting at the Chicago White Sox game. Didn't get into too much into the story, but I knew I'd heard about it. It's like, well, that's where we're at now. It's fucking everywhere you go, you got to worry about some fuckface. But gunshot victim. Wait, it says victim. She had a gun too. Now I gotta fucking read this story because it says victim at White Sox game reportedly snuck weapon in by hiding it in her fat folds, which is the most fucking American headline ever. Right there. 2 women were wounded by gunfire during Friday night's Oakland Athletics Chicago White Sox game at Guaranteed Rate Field. The incident in left field bleachers did not stop the game at all. Why would it? You know, keep playing, play ball. And made for a bizarre and confusing story over the weekend, with many people speculating where the bullets may have come from. This morning, it was looking more clear that whomever fired the gun must have been inside the stadium. ESPN Chicago's Peggy Kaczynski provided the next chapter of this tale in a tweet for the Ages, indicating that one of the injured women had snuck the gun into the stadium by holding it in the folds of her belly fat, as I reported on ESPN just now. According to Peggy Kaczynski, the shooting at Guaranteed Rate Field during a White Sox game was indeed an accidental discharge by one of the women. Incidental discharge, by the way. Accidental discharge just sounds like fucking condition. 100%. I mean, it is in this case too, but you know. She reportedly snuck the gun in past metal detectors, hiding it in the folds of her fat belly. You can use these things for all sorts of things, you know. A drink holder. But my fucking belly is going down. It is the beginning of sober September, by the way, so this is going to be a lot slimmer, but I'm fucking kind of slimming down. The beer intake's coming way down, even before sober September. But anyway, when you have the gut, it makes for a great drink rest, first of all. Second of all, that is the most American story I've ever heard in my entire fucking life. And I'll lump myself in with fat Americans every single time. Because I am one. Trying not to be, you know. But nobody got arrested. I mean, somebody got arrested, right? Had to have. They didn't stop the game. It doesn't say if they've been arrested. I can only assume. Even though you never know. You never know if somebody's going to get arrested or not. Do I want to peruse any more down this thing? That was kind of fun. Why not? TV news crew robbed while reporting on Chicago robbery sprees. I mean, oh my God. That's the most American story. The next one. Part 2. All right, let's stop perusing these headlines. I think next we might take a look at something happening in Ireland. You guys, it's the little things that make me happy a lot of times. Not gonna lie. starting this YouTube channel and starting to have viewers gravitate towards it, especially starting the reactions. That really helped quite a bit as far as YouTube. Channel got monetized. But it's a little bit at a time. Like, I think a lot of people will think that when you get monetized on YouTube, it's a lot. I think most people are aware that it's not that much at all. I've been monetized for, has it been 2 years? Maybe. And, it's good growth. There's growth every year, I don't know how much people think you make on this. It's not a lot. Like, I just hit my first $100 on YouTube. And to be fucking quite honest, it felt about as good as I don't remember my first $100 that I made in my life. But I feel like it would have felt pretty good, when did I start working? I was 14, my first job, working at McDonald's. So that had to be the first time I made $100, even though I had worked with my dad making money before that, before I was actually legally available to work. My dad's like, get the fuck out there and carry those blocks and mix that cement. Get the fuck in there, start working. So that's probably where I made it. Pretty sure my dad paid me around $100, maybe once. Anyway, point of the story is it felt pretty good. I'm like, I can just work and make more money. That's the easy way to look at it. You work and you make money, ideally, if motherfuckers want to pay you. But I made my first $100 on YouTube. That's pretty fucking, it's little baby steps, man. I just want to sit and watch it grow. In when the fuck am I going to Ireland? 2.5 years? I'll probably have $500 in there. And I'll fucking use that $500 in some way, shape, or form to finance my venture. You guys, sports check real quick. There's only really one sports thing in my life to talk about right at this moment, and that's the goddamn Detroit Lions. 1 week from yesterday, Lions are opening the NFL season Thursday against the Chiefs, and as a Lions super fan from day one, it has only gotten worse and worse and worse. And when I say worse, being a Lions fan, because most of it's been bad, 100%, But there is the most optimism there's ever fucking been with this team, and I can't wait because the game, first of all. Second of all, I really am stoked to sit down with the brothers because we're doing a podcast, a Detroit Lions Chiefs watch party, watch along. So you'd have to watch the game. You can't watch it with us. On the actual video, but you put the game on and put us on and fucking watch the game together and talk shit. I'll have Josh and Levi. We'll be in Levi's living room, set up cameras, just shooting the shit and watching the Lions. It's our favorite thing, and it's been so long since we podcasted together. I can't fucking wait. And I had Levi on, of course, for the Metallica-thon back in April, but this will be the first time all three of us have actually just done a podcast together, first of all. And then second of all, or first, like I said earlier, the fucking Lions, man. I think we're going to do some season predictions. If there's anybody that cares about these kinds of things, I think we're going to do some season predictions and some fun things. And just watch the fucking game and get so Lions homered out. It won't even be funny. And it'll just be fucking fun. And then, of course, Monday, live, 2 p.m., Eastern, Aslan. No, the Aslan, all Aslan reaction marathon on YouTube, where I'm going to do 90 minutes, 2 hours maybe. Bring me your best Aslan suggestions, things you know I need to check out, absolutely must listen or must view or something. Come at me, bro, with Aslan. And then the interview next week too. And watch for that at some point after my record date, which is Thursday or Wednesday. Oh my God, what day is it? I think that does it for me, you guys. I think I talked about all the things. Hopefully you had fun. Hopefully you enjoyed this What the Hell Everything podcast. The more you watch it, the more you like it. I don't know if that's true or not. I'm hoping. You guys, that's it for me.